I teach that you never want to win an argument. And this is why. When you look to win an argument, you will often lose the relationship. Like if you set out to only prove people wrong, yeah, you might win the point, but you will lose the person. You know, being right doesn't keep you company. Let's put it that way. When I look at his arguments as only something to win, all I've won is really the first step to apologize, typically, when you set out to win it. Because most arguments aren't really won, it's just they're won by forfeit. Somebody goes, I'm over this. Or you said something that was really hurtful that makes them say, I don't we're done. I don't want to talk about this. An argument eventually burns out. That's what happens. But when you set out to win, you will lose the relationship. Like if you and I are in an argument and I say something that's really hurtful and then you leave, you hang up the phone. What have I won? Yeah, I mean, I've won awkward silence now when we pass each other in the hall. I've won that awkward feeling. Now I have to pick up the phone and apologize. I still have to find a way to probably work with you or live with you. What have you proven? When has ever you go on to social media and disparage somebody's political belief ever changed their mind? Ever. We want the last word. When you have the last word, you are typically first up to apologize. That's all you've bought yourself. That's your prize. Congrats. And when that happens, you find a way of going, that's not really what I wanted. Why did I say that? That was just hubris. That was just me. I just had a feeling of being right. And sometimes we have that feeling of when, especially in terms of people that are in charge of other people, we expect others to do what we say. When you're in work mode and you say, I need this done, people get it done. You set the tone. This is how we want to do it. And sometimes we translate that into our own romantic relationships. Oh no, I said it needs to be this way. So you know what you need to do? You need to do it this way. And it's a different shift when you're doing something that's romantic versus something that is, you have to be captain of the ship. And so whenever you're in those difficult conversations, you only see something to win, you're going to have a hard problem. What I teach is, instead of seeing arguments as something to win, you see them as something to unravel. Meaning, what we want to do is pull my way, and then you pull it your way, and it just makes it worse. It makes it worse. We have to give up, and it's not until that next conversation that we actually try and care of what happened. I will often tell someone, help me find the knot. Help me find the knot. And what I'm doing is encouraging them to say, I'm not saying, what's wrong with you? I'm not saying, can you be any more stupid? I'm saying, help me find the knot. It's a way of detaching the issue, detaching the problem, saying this is something for us both to look at, help unravel what am I missing? That phrase right there is very, very effective. If you can just ask them the question, what am I missing? They will always tell you. Because most likely it's not something that you're focused on. You're only focused on what you're saying. You're not focused on what they're hearing. Big, big difference.
When we approach disagreement like a duel, we often lose sight of what truly matters, the relationship, not being right. Many arguments don't end in real resolution. They end in retreat. One person stops talking, walks away, or gives up out of exhaustion. John Gottman, a renowned relationship psychologist, showed that the way we handle conflict is one of the strongest predictors of a relationship's long-term health. It's not about who's right, it's about how we argue. One powerful insight is to replace the idea of an argument with a knot we need to untangle together. Instead of saying, you're wrong, or worse, how can you not understand? The author suggests this: help me find the knot. That one phrase changes everything. It turns conflict into collaboration. It frames the issue as something external to the couple, a shared problem we can explore side by side. It's a form of communication that's both assertive and empathetic. He also warns against bringing a command mindset into a relationship. People who are used to leading or giving orders at work sometimes carry that same directive tone into their personal life. But love is not a hierarchy. That said, this doesn't mean avoiding conflict altogether. Disagreements are natural, even necessary for growth. The key is not giving up on yourself, but shifting your intention from winning to understanding. Wanting the last word isn't a sign of strength. It's often a sign of insecurity or the need to stay in control. Truly emotionally strong people are the ones who know how to pause their ego to protect the connection.